Hi, I am here with your weekly tarot, May 24th to the 30th, 2021. Now, I am a day late. I apologize. I was supposed to do this yesterday. However, where I am here in Canada, we had a long weekend. And of course, what happens with that is you have Sunday vibes on a Thursday or a Friday, and you have Friday vibes. I don't know. They disappeared. The days this past weekend, even though we had an extra day off, just disappeared. I don't know where they went. And I completely lost track of the days. And it was almost midnight last night when I was going to bed, and I realized, oh, wait, that was Sunday, and I forgot to do the video. My bad. Things have been busy. As you can see, slightly different background. That's because I'm in my living room today. My dining room table is a disaster, and I'm not even going to try and clear that off. So we're going to record this way. So on to the reading using the Sixth Sense Oracle. And we haven't used this deck in a while, and this is the Royal Gilded Tarot. So I thought last week, having the Oracle cards and the tarot cards together for the days of the week, I thought that worked fairly well. So let's get our messages for the week of May 24th to the 30th. Now, this is definitely general reading. This is for everybody. And this is not necessarily taking the super full moon in Sagittarius with the full lunar eclipse into account. And that is happening Tuesday night into Wednesday. So where I live, the moon rises just before 11 p.m. The eclipse starts just after 2. In fact, I think the exact time is 2:22 a.m. is when the full moon will have the eclipse starting. And then the eclipse will be at its peak at 4:44. Now, these times are all standard Eastern time. And then the moon will be at its fullest and closest to Earth just after 7:20, I think it's 7:28, again, standard Eastern time, and that will be Wednesday morning at that point. But this eclipse, if you aren't already feeling it, because, oh Lordy, trust me, I certainly am, this is all about endings and closing things out and fate. Things are going to be revealed as to what needs to close out, what needs to be left behind, what is fated coming up in the next little while. And because eclipses come in pairs, there will be a solar eclipse. Now, the lunar eclipse will be visible in the northern hemisphere. Where I live, sketchy information, it may only appear partially in the northern Ontario, Canada, northern Minnesota-ish area. Okay, I'm going to try and get a few more cards here with the oracles, and we'll dive into the tarot. We may not get a true full eclipse just simply based off of our geography and where we're at. However, there are some, this is brand new news here, so I'm going to stop shuffling, talk about this part. There are apparently a couple of huge solar flares that have just left the sun, meaning it's going to be having an impact on Earth roughly around the same time as the eclipse. So we may get a bit of a special show here because we are northern, or at least those of us who live in my region, because we are so northern. This is going to add basically an extra kick in the pants, a kick in the rear as to here's your fate, here's what it is, here is some massive cosmic energy from the sun kicking in now. And a very interesting point with this solar flare is the sun is currently in the sign of Gemini, which is all about communications. The full moon is in the sign of Sagittarius. And when you look at astrology everything is on a wheel. There are 12 signs, 12 astrological signs in the astrological calendar. And whenever you have one sign, there is always going to be another completely opposite, and that is the polarity or the polar opposite of that particular sign. So the sun is going to be in Gemini, Mercury is in Gemini, and we are pre-retrograde for Mercury, shadow phase right now, and during this full moon, Mercury will go full retrograde on Saturday, the 29th. So the polarity, how does this all work? Well, the moon is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius and Gemini are polar opposites from each other. So if you have a lot of Taurus placements, Gemini placements, particularly your sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Sagittarius, what else is there? Usually there's 4 signs that really get a double whammy when all of this happens. I think probably Aquarius is going to feel it as well. So those particular signs, huge kick in the pants. You are going to be getting a wake-up call. Now, I myself am a Gemini. Can't remember off the top of my head what my Mercury sign is, but I do find that I very much embody that entire Gemini spirit. Good, bad, ugly. And then when I'm having a bad day, my rising sign, which is a Virgo, rears its ugly head for its need for perfection. All right. One more card. Let's see if we can get one more card. There it is. I almost feel like I'm a blackjack dealer when I want one more card. I'm like, one more card, hit me, dealer. All right. So let's talk a little bit into what the cards are. What do we have? We have Monday, the 24th. I know most of us are going to be through the day Monday by the time you see this. We have free spirit. And free spirit does embody the Gemini vibes that we're getting from just all around. We've got Mercury, Sun, all in Gemini right now. Venus is in Gemini. So there's a lot of very free-spirited energy where you want to kind of flit around and say, oh, I haven't seen that person in a long time. They're at the store. I'm going to go talk to them. And then there's that guy over in the parking lot. I'm going to go talk to him, but I want to talk to them. And squirrel, yeah. That's Gemini energy, and it is very free-spirited. I'm not sure how well you're going to be able to see it. There are butterflies there on the girl's hand, and social butterfly is words used to describe Gemini. So feel free to embody some of that free spirit type energy for Monday. Now on Tuesday, shockingly enough, look at the full moon in the background here. Tuesday, we're going to be entering Tuesday night at, like I said, around 11 p.m. Eastern time. So that's New York and Toronto time zones. We are going to have moonrise. And the moon is so deeply linked to intuition as well as your emotions. So all heightened emotions, intuition, everything is going to really feel like it's leading you down this path. Looks like Red Riding Hood going through the woods under the moonlight to Grandma's house. Well, it's not necessarily Grandma's house that we are going to see. What we are going to see, though, is going to help guide our intuition as to what doors are closing, what is opening, what our next steps are, and where we are heading. It's not necessarily the end game as to where we're going, but it is going to show us which path we should be looking at. Now on Wednesday, we've got Soul Dance. And I know we have seen this particular card before, and I love it because they're dancing, they're happy, there's music, and the figures in the card are letting their soul dance. And a lot of this is still embodying the free spirit energy which I strongly feel is going to kind of kick off a lot of the week. We're going to be feeling this off and on because we are in Gemini season, and we're actually at this point only 3 full days into Gemini season. So we're going to be really kind of picking up a lot of that energy over the next little while. So if you're feeling kind of like you need to let loose and sing and dance, well, definitely do it. And if you do full moon rituals, well, that soul dancing, singing, dancing might happen under the full moon. I do suggest, though, if you are going to do it naked, to do that in the privacy of your home or backyard if you've got a fence. Because, trust me, the police have enough on their hands during a full moon. Having your naked neighbor singing and dancing at 4 a.m. under the eclipse during a full moon, the police may not appreciate those phone calls. And chances are they're not going to see you anyway because they are going to be far too busy running, chasing after other people who are howling at the moon, possibly naked. It has happened. I know that because I've answered that call. I've received that. So moving on into Thursday, we've got Heart's Desire, and I do feel these two guys here. I hope I'm not cutting them off. These two guys go hand in hand. If you let your soul dance, you might just be finding what your heart is desiring. Or maybe you're doing it with somebody that your heart does desire. We can get a few tarot cards to clarify that one. But it's all about embodying your free spirit and letting your soul dance and let your intuition guide you throughout this week. Now on Friday, we've got Martyr. So be cautious on Friday about wanting to be the rescuer where maybe it's not your place. Maybe it's not quite, maybe it's not your burden to carry, being the martyr. Sometimes it's good just to sit back and let people sink or swim on their own. Be there for when they do ask help, but you don't have to necessarily be rushing in and be the martyr. Saturday, we're being asked to use some patience, and that could be in regards to this whole martyr situation. And be patient, let it unfold. I just realized I am one card short. Bottom of the deck is romance. So for those of you looking for romance as what your heart desires, I'm going to say be patient. I'm going to try for one more card here just so we have something for Sunday. Yeah, you may have to be patient in regards to the romantic aspect of things. Mercury is going to be full retrograde on Saturday. So you may want to be massively cautious. I thought I saw a card turned around. Be massively cautious with your communications, whether it is to someone that your heart desires, or if it is you're selling your house, or you've sold your car, or it's a message to your boss or co-workers, because this Mercury retrograde is going to be in the sign of Gemini. Mercury rules over Gemini. Mercury is the planet of communication. So there it is. I knew there was one flipped out. So on Saturday, you're going to also have to be exercising a lot of patience when it comes to your communications, because there is massive, and I can't overstate how important this retrograde is in terms of communication, and how this could be extremely disruptful if you found the Mercury retrograde in the sign of Aquarius to be just a huge disruption. Well, this one may be even more potent, more so in terms of communication than the actual retrograde. And don't forget, during all of this, we've got Saturn went retrograde last Saturday on May 23rd. So we've got Pluto retrograde, we've got Saturn retrograde, Mercury retrograde is just around the corner. We'll be seeing that in full swing by the end of the week. We've got a full moon with a full lunar eclipse. Now, what happens between this eclipse on Wednesday and the eclipse on June 11th, which will be a solar eclipse? Those are the two that are bookending. Whatever happens in between there is going to be showing you what is fated for you for the next year approximately. So you may want to pay close attention as to the signs, people reappearing that you thought you had put boundaries up against or are unhealthy or no longer serve your highest good. If they make an appearance, it's a test. Are you going to be strong enough to uphold those boundaries, or are you going to allow them to come back in? And if you do allow them to come back in, then it's going to be fated that their behavior is going to repeat. This is a lesson I personally have learned myself. So this eclipse is going to be a strong one. It's a tough one. And it may be showing us some really tough truths. And you guys saw me take this card when it flipped out of the deck while I was shuffling it and talking about what's going on with all of this eclipses and all of that fun stuff. For Sunday, the card has changed. And these eclipses are going to be showing us what we need to change. Now, let's consult with the tarot and see if it has any messages for us for this week. And I'm already looking at one card. It's the Major Arcana card. Oh, we've got two. And I'm not going to necessarily assign them a day of the week. Not surprised at one of these cards that just popped out. Simply because with retrogrades, all of these retrogrades that are happening, they do want us to look back, because retrogrades are backwards motion of the planet. So whatever the planet stands for that is in retrograde, it wants us to examine that portion of our lives, look back. The planet is going backwards, so it wants us to look backwards onto things and see how we need to maybe change, grow, move, put boundaries up, maybe take boundaries down. If you've put up some pretty tough walls around your heart, your heart's desire is going to stay at arm's length unless you allow it in. No, okay, that's a ton of cards. All right, we're going to stop shuffling there. On the bottom of the deck, we do have the Magician, Major Arcana card, first numbered card of the tarot and the Major Arcana. So this is a card of Gemini. Sometimes it's a Virgo because it is a creator, but this is about creating, manifesting, wishing. So keep creating, keep manifesting, keep doing your wishing. And I'm just going to run through these. We do have a number of Major Arcana, so I am going to put them aside because they get top billing when it comes to the tarot, because they overshadow the rest of the tarot. So we have to start off two pages. We have the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. Now, the Page of Swords is talking about facing a challenge and having fears and doubts in ourselves. Now, with the Page of Pentacles, this is talking about our skills. And there's a lot of doubts about our skills and our knowledge and about moving forward and making change and creating all of the new. And I mean, let's face it, dealing with all of these retrogrades, while a good chunk of them are in the sign of Gemini. And don't forget the big old planet Jupiter, which does have a huge effect on Earth, is in the sign of Pisces. And Jupiter, because it right now is in a water sign, Mars also currently in Cancer, water sign, full moon, oh boy, emotions, yeah, add the eclipse, even more emotions. We're going to be feeling a lot of doubt, and like we are that small child again that's really not sure of themselves, of their skills, and how they're moving forward. Now, when it comes to the eclipse, we are feeling maybe some grief, loss, and sorrow when it comes to what is coming next and what is being shown to us, because we are going to have to let go. I've got 3 cards here. I'm not sure how I'm going to hold them all. We're going to talk about. So we have the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Wands, and the 7 of Swords in reverse. And the 5s are all about conflict. So we're feeling grief, loss, and sorrow, and conflicted about maybe the uncovering of some shady behavior with the 7 of Swords here, because the 7 of Swords is about deception, but in reverse is we've seen the deception. It's been uncovered. And I do strongly feel that that is all tied to this eclipse. Sometimes it is tough to see where things are working, where they're not working, where you need to make a major move, or maybe you make a small move when you want to make a major move. There is going to be communication with the 8 of Wands going back and forth. There's going to be a lot of it, and it can get overwhelming. But here's where the retrograde energy starts coming in, is we've got the 6 of Cups, which talks about looking back at things with fondness. And the retrogrades are all about looking back at things. So this is where you take your highlight reel, you look back at your highlight reel, and with Saturn retrograde, what can you do to help move yourself forward in terms of discipline and action, inaction, what you can use to move forward. With Pluto in retrograde, Pluto in retrograde is all about death, birth, and transformation. Right now, we are not even quite to the chrysalis phase because we're still that goo. The butterfly transforming from the caterpillar, cocooned, it's goo. It hasn't quite started to grow its wings yet, and Saturn retrograde is having an impact on it, as is Jupiter in Pisces. I know there's a lot of astrology talk today for this week, but that's because there is a lot happening in the cosmos. Now, this looking back at stuff may cause a lot of communication to be happening, and that can be for clarification of what is going on, how to help build your skills and build your confidence to move forward, particularly if you've uncovered some shady or deceptive behavior. Now, with the major arcanas, don't forget, we've got Mr. Gemini here that wants us to move forward and create. We've got the help of the Justice card, card of Libra. This is a balancing of karma, and this is what Saturn retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and what has been going on since March is there's a balancing of karma. There's a karmic shift happening as well, and we're going to be seeing a lot of that coming through this week. Now, I do want to make a really quick side note. Everybody will see karma playing out in their own way, and it might just be something small that gains momentum. It might be gaining a lot of momentum very quickly, or it may be taking its time, depending on your own situation. I've seen this path kind of working its way through right now. So don't forget, the major arcanas are going to take precedence over everything else that we've talked about. We've got the Hanging Man in reverse, which is talking about a feeling of stagnation. We want things to move forward. We want karma shifting. Yeah, we want it right now. We are going to have to be patient, even though it feels like we're just hanging around, money free flowing out of us while nothing's happening. Well, stay strong. This is the card of Leo. This is where you gain your confidence back as well. is be gentle with yourself while you are taming the lion within or the beast within in order to help get you through all of this karmic change and this feeling of stagnation and a period of waiting. Do so with love. Now there's an interesting thing here. Card of Gemini, card of Gemini, card of Libra. These are all air signs, and Gemini and Libra both talk about balance. We do have help from the sun because we've got Leo and we've got the infinity sign here with the magician right here, which gives us an infinite supply of abilities to create and strength. And the strength card usually has an infinity sign on it. So there is an infinite supply of how we move forward. And we are going to be putting it into action with the card of Cancer. This is the Chariot. This is also more grace under fire and willpower. And then we've got more Leo energy. We're ending off this week, or at least once we get through the bulk of the eclipse energy. Now, don't forget, this energy is going to stick around with us until mid-June when we have that solar eclipse. And that's when we start to see the happiest card in the deck really bring us what is going to be making us happy and bringing happiness and joy, completion, ending of cycles. So I know this has been super long. I hope you stuck with me through it all, particularly through all the astrology and talk of the cosmos. I am going to try to do a more specific reading for Wednesday. I am also going to try and get out, weather permitting, to take some pictures of the eclipse, seeing as we've got the solar flare that is going to be hitting Earth around that same time. Maybe we'll get northern lights. Normally, you don't see northern lights when there's a full moon, but the moon brightness is going to be greatly dimmed due to the eclipse. So I'm going to try and take some pictures. I'm also going to try and do a specific reading for everybody on that day, which will be Wednesday. And I will be doing that reading. Hopefully, I'll have it out Tuesday night. Fingers crossed if I don't lose track of time, because I swear I lost at least 2 days this past week. So I'm going to leave it here, and I will talk to you soon.